I grew up going to church all my life as a child, but didn't really have a relationship with God. Hi, my name is Luba, and this is my story. During my adulthood, God kept trying to pull me closer and closer, but I would waver. I would go to church, um, but again, like I said, I just never really came full force. I gave my heart to Jesus. One day, sitting in my living room, I was actually with Joyce Meyer. I did an altar call, and I answered that altar call. I connected with a man from our high school, my high school. So we weren't high school sweethearts or anything, but we went to a very small high school and connected. And despite many warnings and red flags, I married him. Things were happening very quickly and easily. He convinced me to sell my home, and within 6 weeks, I had an offer on my home. So I was taking those as signs that this was what God intended. I prayed for a husband, prayed a lot for a husband. The craziness began fairly quickly after he changed his mind, and instead of wanting to live in Maine, convinced me to sell my home and move out of state. And that was really, really hard. So I immediately fell into depression. During those first couple of years, we moved quite a bit. At one point, we came back to Maine. It's actually only 8 months later. Came back to Maine. I'm so grateful. But things weren't going right. We couldn't find a home. And I talked to my husband at the time. I said, I don't want to go back out of state. And so we agreed that I would stay. We would try to work out a long-distance marriage. A couple of weeks later, I had an ear doctor appointment. I've had several surgeries. I have a lot of chronic ear issues on one side. And the doctor said, you really need someone checking on this as much as you can. You need to take better care of it. And I wasn't. I left the appointment. I was sitting in the car, and I heard, you have to go back. And I said, please no. I can't leave my son and my family again. And I heard, you have to go back for your health. And so I was obedient. I told my husband, I'll go back. So we were back out of state. Went to primary physician. I was having some digestive issues, and the physician said, we need to get you in for a colonoscopy. I'd had a test done a few months ago when I was in Maine, and they said, it looks clean, there's no blood, no family history, you're fine. The doctor out of state said, that test catches 5% of cancer. Are you comfortable with that? I'm not. I said, no, I'm not. He said, let's get you in. I went in for a week later for colonoscopy, and they found 3 giant polyps that I was told were ready to pop, and they were all cancer-filled. And the surgeon said if I'd waited 2 months, then I would have been ridden with cancer. Not long after we moved back to Maine, I visited New Life Church, and as soon as I walked in, I just felt at home. I felt like I knew I had a church family again. However, my husband didn't want to attend. I would ask him now and then, would you join me? Nope, I don't want to hear about your God. Some of the craziness just got worse and worse. I called 911, and under the guidance of the state police, packed my bags and left my home. So I prayed that weekend in my hotel room. From there, I called domestic violence agency. The agency put me up in their shelter. Found myself in a shelter, so technically I was homeless. And at my age, educated, educated family, everyone's educated. It just didn't seem right. But I know God was in control. I know God was taking care of me. So I went with the flow. People would ask me, well, why are you so positive and through all of this? And I said, well, I know that I'm being held, and I really don't have to do much other than obey, and everything's happening as it should. It's amazing. God knows what we need, for sure, but it's hard to be obedient, but we have to be. And I know that. I know I wouldn't have been healed from cancer. I've been given the gifts of women friendship that I never had before. My son said to me, Mom, from all the stories that you've told me and everything you've gone through the last couple of years especially, he said, I know that there's something greater out there than myself. Just what I went through brought my son to the next level. He's not quite where I want him to be yet, but everything I went through, if it led to that, it was all worth it.